Hi, this is Ben with Property Care Systems, and I'd like to take a minute to answer one of the questions we get all the time. Concrete versus pavers, which is better, which lasts longer, what is cheaper? So, what I would say to that question is it depends. Um, so, big projects like large driveways, RV pad driveways, shop pads, that kind of thing, concrete is definitely cheaper than pavers, probably around 25% less expensive than entry level pavers. But the smaller the project gets, the more the cost rises on the concrete side of things. I would say somewhere around 450 to 500 square feet is kind of the break even point where concrete and pavers are pretty similarly priced. And on something really small, like let's say you need a 10 by 10 pad for a shed or a hot tub, concrete is more expensive than pavers. And it's for reasons like we have to buy, a minimum fee for mud off of the cement trucks and just things like that. So little tiny projects, pavers are cheaper. Medium, small patios, kind of a wash, and driveways, big stuff, anything over 1,000 square feet, concrete is definitely cheaper. Now, which one's going to last longer? Well, it depends. So, assuming they were both constructed properly with the appropriate aggregates underneath them and compacted and don't have excess water trapped underneath them or anything like that, they should last a pretty similar amount of time. I would say one big difference between plain Jane concrete and pavers in the how long will it last is pavers all have color mixed into them, unless you get some plain Jane gray pavers. But the color bleaches out of the concrete and they start to look tired. So a lot of your pavers that started life with any amount of red and earth tones in them, 20 years down the road, a lot of times they look kind of pinkish, and that's just color bleaching out. So in that regard, plain Jane gray concrete is gonna last better because it's just gonna stay gray for forever and you don't have the color fade. Now, on a very heavy traffic scenario, like let's say you had commercial vehicles driving over this section of pavement all the time. So in that case, concrete's just stronger. A paver is 2 3/8 of an inch thick. And, if we were building loading dock areas for trucks, we're probably pouring 6 to 8 inches of concrete. So for that reason, it's not even apples to apples anymore. We're putting in 4 times as much concrete products as, we would with the pavers. So, but your average driveway, I actually think that down the road, you might have an easier time living with the paver installation than the concrete installation, because if anything starts to get lifted in the pavers, they can actually move almost like a wave in the water. And when concrete moves, it shifts. And so, like when you walk down the old neighborhood sidewalks with all the big trees around and you find those toe catching panels of sidewalk that are lifted, that's a real big bummer. If that was pavers, there's a better chance that the pavers will just roll with the root. So, in some respects, when pavers move, it's more tolerable than when concrete moves. And that's what we have to say about that. If we could help you with your paving project, please give us a call at 775-750-7251. If you can provide any kind of ballpark sizing information, like I have a driveway that fits 2 cars in it or something like that, we can give you very close estimates over the phone without even having to come out. Thank you. One thing I forgot to talk about is stamped concrete. So stamped concrete is quite a bit different than plain Jane broom finished concrete. Stamped concrete is the first thing I would say. It looks awesome, but It is the slipperiest surface that we can pave for you when it's wet. And that makes it no good, in my opinion, for around swimming pools. Second, it is more prone to crumble around the edges, and if it's in a like north side of a house and gets a bunch of snow and ice, the surface is more likely to crumble than plain Jane concrete.